Hey there, foodies. Welcome back to Starts and Stories, where we dive into all things lifestyle, culture, and the interesting quirks that make us different. Today, we're talking about food, specifically, the 17 American foods that get a big, strong, no thanks from many Europeans. Curious to know why some foods that are iconic in the US just don't sit well across the pond? Let's find out. Starting off with one of the most polarizing items, processed cheese, also known as American cheese. While we love it in our burgers and grilled cheese sandwiches, Europeans often find it a bit too artificial. Over there, cheese means something rich, natural, and full of character, so those bright yellow slices? Not exactly their cup of tea. And speaking of drinks, have you ever offered a European some Mountain Dew? The neon color alone might be enough to scare them off. The high sugar, caffeine, and all those artificial ingredients are a bit too much for their taste buds, not to mention their stricter food regulations. It's no surprise this fizzy drink is a hard pass. Now, this one might shock a few of you: peanut butter. Yep, the gooey, nutty spread that we Americans love on everything from sandwiches to smoothies isn't as big of a hit in Europe. Nutella? Sure. Almond butter? You bet. But peanut butter? That's still a bit of an acquired taste for many on the other side of the Atlantic. Okay, here's one that gets a serious side eye from Europeans: the beloved corn dog. A hot dog wrapped in sweet corn batter and deep-fried is a state fair favorite in the US, but it's often seen as overly greasy and, let's be real, kind of strange. Speaking of strange, nothing says processed sweetness quite like a Twinkie. It's iconic, sure, but that sugary hit and its shelf-stable nature don't scream fresh and delicious to Europeans, who tend to prefer their baked goods fresh from the bakery. And then there's Hershey's chocolate. Now, I know it's an American classic, but Europeans, especially the chocolate connoisseurs in places like Belgium and Switzerland, often find it too sweet and waxy compared to their rich, smooth varieties. To them, it's not even in the same league. Now, let's talk about grits, a staple in the American South. Many Europeans find the texture and flavor a bit bland and puzzling. It's hard for them to understand the appeal, especially when they have their beloved polenta. And then we have Wonder Bread, you know, the soft, spongy white bread that's perfect for PB&Js Europeans. Not so much. They prefer their bread crusty, dense, and without the sweetness that comes with this American classic. Now here's one that divides not just continents, but even friends: pumpkin spice. In the US, we're all about pumpkin-flavored everything when fall hits, but Europeans just don't share that obsession. To them, pumpkin is more of a savory ingredient, perfect for soups or stews, not coffee. This one might be a little controversial, but Europeans often find our use of ketchup excessive. In the US, we pour it on everything: fries, burgers, even eggs, but over in Europe, they use it sparingly, if at all. Instant mac and cheese is a beloved quick fix here in the US, but in Europe, particularly in Italy where pasta is sacred, the idea of powdered cheese just doesn't fly. Fresh pasta and real cheese are the way to go there. And those bright, sugary cereals like Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms? They might be a hit with kids in the States, but in Europe, parents often opt for less sugary breakfast options. Those colorful cereal bowls are just too sweet for many European tastes. Now, here's a real head-scratcher for Europeans: biscuits and gravy. In the US, it's a hearty, comforting breakfast. But across the pond, they see biscuits as sweet treats, so the idea of topping them with sausage gravy? Definitely not their idea of a breakfast delight. And speaking of unusual pairings, fried chicken and waffles. This sweet and savory combo is beloved in the States, but many Europeans can't wrap their heads around mixing the two. Root beer is another one that doesn't go down smoothly in Europe. The taste, which many Americans love, reminds Europeans of cough syrup, not exactly what you want in a refreshing drink. One of the bigger differences is high fructose corn syrup, which is common in a lot of American sweets and sodas. In Europe, it's either banned or heavily restricted, and they use real sugar instead. So, a lot of our snacks and drinks just don't taste the same over there. And last but not least, beef jerky. While it's a popular snack in the US, it's seen as overly processed and too salty in Europe, where fresher, more natural meats are the preferred choice. So there you have it, folks. 17 American foods that make Europeans say, "No thanks." It's always interesting to see how food preferences differ around the world, right? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fun insights into the little things that make us unique. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.